In 2026, we finally stopped calling Courtney the next Joplin and started calling her the first Courtney. We start the script by dismantling the 2018 AGT shadow. Back then, she was a viral sensation because of the shock factor, a shy 13-year-old turning into a screaming rock banshee. But the 2026 transformation is about more than just a performance style. It's about sonic maturity. The firm stance here is that Courtney didn't just grow up. She evolved into the savior of a genre that many claimed was on life support. We use humor to describe the industry's confusion when she refused to go the pop princess route. Labels wanted synthesizers. Courtney wanted a distorted Gibson SG and a Marshall stack, we joke. To avoid violations, we frame this as a comparative study in brand evolution. We analyze the exact moment her vocal rasp transitioned from a cool trick to a technical weapon. By the time we finish this point, the viewer is strapped in for a breakdown of how she successfully navigated the child star curse to become a legitimate rock and roll authority. You don't just scream like Courtney for 8 years without knowing the science of the growl. In this section, we treat Courtney's vocal health like a professional athlete's training regimen. The tone is firm. Her 2026 voice is a technical marvel. We analyze her false chord activation, the way she creates that signature rock distortion without damaging her actual vocal folds. The humor kicks in when we compare her low-end resonance to a. She hits a note and you can practically smell the exhaust and the leather jacket. We provide a technical breakdown of her laryngeal height, explaining how she manages to stay resonant while singing at extreme volumes. This is vital for 2026 SEO. By using terms like compression, we move the content from fan reaction to vocal pedagogy. We establish that while her AGT debut was raw, her 2026 performances are calculated chaos. The pace is rapid, highlighting that her massive transformation is rooted in thousands of hours of vocal conditioning and a refusal to use auto-tune in an era obsessed with digital perfection. Remember the shy girl who couldn't look the judges in the eye? She's dead. In 2026, Courtney's stage presence is described as controlled possession. This point focuses on the kinetic energy of her live shows. We move fast through the performance art aspect, how she uses her body as an extension of the guitar riffs. Humor mocks the stiff pop stars of the 2020s. Courtney moves like she's trying to shake off a swarm of bees, and honestly, it's the most rock and roll thing we've seen in decades. Firmly, we analyze her audience domination. This is performance psychology analysis. We talk about her 2026 Glastonbury set, where she commanded 100,000 people with nothing but a tambourine and a dream. We frame this as the final graduation from the AGT state. This transformative narrative ensures the algorithm sees this as a deep dive into artist development. We're not just showing clips, we're dissecting the anatomy of a performer who learned how to weaponize her social anxiety into stage power. For years, Courtney was known for her covers of Redding and Tina Turner, but 2026 marks the year her original discography took over. This section is a fast-paced music industry analysis. We describe her 2026 album, The New Vintage, as a sonic revolution. The humor targets the genre police. She took 1969, put it in a blender with 2026, and served it with a side of pure attitude. Firmly, we analyze the songwriting structure, the choice to use analog recording techniques in a digital world. This is production critique. We explain why her singles are topping the US rock charts. It's the authenticity factor. We're not just listening to a melody, we're dissecting the sonic identity of a girl who found her own pen. This structural analysis signals to YouTube that we are providing expert-level educational content. We joke that the old guard of rock legends like Mick Jagger and Robert Plant are probably looking at her and thinking, okay, the kids are all right. Transformation isn't just about the ears, it's about the eyes. This point focuses on Courtney's visual brand evolution. We describe her 2026 look as hippie meets Victorian goth. The humor is aimed at the fast fashion influencers. Courtney looks like she walked out of a 1970s thrift store in London and immediately started a revolution. Firmly, we break down her visual storytelling, the way her fashion choices reflect the unapologetic nature of her music. This is brand identity analysis. We talk about her signature bell-bottoms and vintage vests becoming the 2026 uniform for the new rock generation. This sociological commentary adds another layer of transformative value. We firmly argue that her massive transformation was a conscious rejection of the glossy pop aesthetic. The pace is quick, moving from her school uniform days on AGT to her rock goddess status on the cover of Rolling Stone. She is the stylistic authority for a generation that wants to look as loud as they sound. How did a rock singer survive in the age of 15-second tick trends? By ignoring them. This section takes a firm, slightly funny look at Courtney's anti-influencer strategy. The humor is found in the content paradox. While everyone else was doing dance challenges, Courtney was posting 10-minute videos of herself practicing blues scales in her bedroom. We analyze the paradox of choice, how her scarcity made her demand skyrocket. This digital marketing analysis on the long-form artist adds deep value. We firmly argue that her transformation was a digital one too. We mock the manufactured viral moments, contrasting them with Courtney's raw, one-take vocal sessions that broke the internet in early 2026. The pace is rapid, highlighting her Instagram lives where she talks more about muddy waters than makeup brands. She is the grounded icon of the digital age, and her fans love her for it. You can't understand Courtney's 2026 power without acknowledging her northern soul, roots in County Durham, England. This point is a fast, funny, yet deep look at the cultural DNA of her voice. We describe her vocal phrasing as a direct pipeline to 1960s Wigan casino. The humor is found in the geographic shock. How did a girl from a quiet village in England end up with more soul than a Memphis barbecue? Firmly, we analyze the rhythmic phrasing and the syncopation that defines her rock style. This provides educational and cultural context, which is gold for 2026 search rankings. We explain how this heritage is the secret weapon of her USA success. The pace is rapid, highlighting the call and response between her and her band. We firmly argue that this isn't British pop, it's universal rock and it's in her blood. By the end of this point, the viewer understands that the transformation wasn't just about changing her clothes. It was about leaning into her history. 2026, Courtney's world tour set a new standard for live fidelity. This section takes a firm, technical look at live sound engineering. We describe the microphone choice, usually a vintage SM58 or a modern equivalent, and the analog-digital hybrid soundboard. The humor comes from mocking bad audio in the past. Remember when live concerts sounded like a beehive in a trash can? Courtney's tour sounds like a studio album with more sweat. Firmly, we analyze the atmospheric reverb, how the tour managed to make a massive stadium feel like a smoky 1960s club. This is technical media analysis. We move fast through the lighting design, the way the shadows were used to mimic old concert films. We firmly state that this is the new standard for rock production. It's a sharp, fast-paced look at how the invisible team facilitated her legendary status. To justify the massive transformation claim, we have to bring out the side-by-side comparison. This point is a fast-paced evolution study. We look at her 2018 AGT Golden Buzzer performance and contrast it with her 2026 rock and roll icon persona. The humor is aimed at the nostalgia trap. The 13-year-old was a phenomenon. The 21-year-old is a powerhouse. Firmly, we argue that 2026 has provided a vocal evolution that few expected. We talk about the technical precision of her modern riffs versus the raw instinct of her youth. This comparative criticism is a high-value signal for YouTube's algorithm. We joke about the vocal wars on social media and how Courtney has officially shut down the rock is dead narrative. The pace is electric, jumping from decade to decade to show how the rock icon archetype has evolved. We wrap it up with a rock authority verdict that is as firm as a judge's gavel. We don't just call it good, we call it the definitive rock benchmark of the 2020s. The script moves fast through a summary of the previous 9 points. The humor returns for a final bow, suggesting that everyone else should probably just stop trying to be edgy because Courtney already won. If you aren't listening to Courtney in 2026, are you even a fan of music? We joke. We firmly state the call to action, tell the audience to comment with their favorite Courtney moment and watch the debate explode. To stay violation-free, we frame the entire conclusion as an original editorial summary. We're not just copying her career, we're defining its place in history. The pace is at its peak here, driving home the message that Courtney didn't just transform, she reclaimed the throne of rock and roll.